Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another English class here on verbling.com. My name is Lisa, and I'm one of the English teachers here at Verbling. And in this hour, we're going to be having a reading class. We're going to be reading an article about the circus and elephants. So if you have a reservation for this hour, then you can, of course, go ahead and use your reservation now and come on into the Google Hangouts here with me. If you don't have a reservation, then just wait 2 minutes, and when you see the Join Class button, then you can join the class. You do need to be a Verbling member to join these classes, but that's pretty easy. You can try a free 7-day trial if you want, and that way you can use the service and see if you like the classes. We have classes 24 hours a day, 7 days per week, and we also have Spanish classes, so you can do Spanish and English, which we have some students that are doing. So yeah, if you have a reservation, you can come in now, and if you don't, just wait a minute, and then you'll see the Join Class button, and then you'll click on that, and that'll bring you into the Google Hangouts here. And then we're going to be reading this article today, which is about Ringling Brothers and Barnaby Bailey, I guess is what it used to be, Ringling Brothers Circus and the elephants. So the elephants have been really important to the circus in the past, but now they are going to stop using elephants in the circus, and we're going to read about why they're going to stop doing that and what's going to happen instead. So I put the link to the document in the Verbling chat. When people join, we're going to go to the article and we're going to read it together. This week on Verbling, I have 5 classes. They're all going to be at this same time, which is 8 a.m. my time. I'm living in Washington State in the United States. So if you plan ahead, we're going to be doing some reading classes, some listening classes, some speaking classes. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. Every day on Verbling, there are lots and lots of different types of classes, reading, writing, speaking, listening, grammar, vocabulary. So you have a lot of opportunities to join lots of different classes and practice lots of things. So, hi, welcome, Herman. How are you?
Hello, Lisa. How are you? I'm fine. And you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Welcome. Herman, where are you calling from?
I'm from Chile.
Ah, from Chile. All right. What part of Chile?
Santiago, the capital.
Aha, the capital. Wonderful. Okay, great. Nice to see you. Welcome to class. Did you see the link that's in the Verbling chat? Okay, great.
I saw it.
Okay, good. All right, so we're just going to wait here a couple of minutes to see if some other people join. It said the class was fully booked, but you never know what that means. Some people make a reservation and then they don't show up, or something else comes up, they can't make it. So we'll just see who's going to join us today. Herman, have you ever seen a Ringling Brothers Circus before? Do you know what that is?
Berbering Circus?
No, Ringling Brothers. Ringling Brothers
No.
Circus. It's pretty popular in the United States. What about in any other type of circus? Have you ever been to the circus before?
Yeah, sure. When I was a child, I saw a couple of circus here in Chile.
In Chile. Okay, great. And did they have elephants in them?
Yes, yes. And lions, tigers,
Yeah,
etc.
other wild animals. Okay, great. Well, that's the article that we're going to be reading today. It's about the elephants and what's happening to them here in the United States. They're going to be stopping using them, which is a big difference because, of course, the elephants have been a really important part of the circus for a long time. So, okay, well, let's see. We'll see if anybody else joins us, but we can go ahead and get started. Let's see. Germán, are you new to Verbling, or have you been coming to Verbling for a while?
No, it's my first week. I started 1 week ago.
You started 1 week ago. Okay, great. Have you taken very many classes?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Great, awesome. Well, I wasn't teaching last week at all, so I haven't seen you yet. What are you learning English for?
For work and for traveling,
Mhm.
just that.
Okay, good. Hi, Adela. Adela, are you there? I don't hear your voice. Maybe your connection's slow or something's happening. Maybe try refreshing your page, Adela. That might help because I don't hear you. Germán, do you hear her now?
No.
No. Okay. I don't hear her at all. Okay. Adela, maybe try refreshing your page or checking your mic or something like that. That might help. Okay, so we can go ahead and get started. So Germán, the way that I do the reading classes, and always depends on who shows up and how many people. Probably you've noticed when you've been taking classes that sometimes you have a full class, sometimes you have just a couple of people in the class. So lots of different things happen. You never know what's going to happen. But the way I do the reading classes, I read out loud. So this way you hear how I'm pronouncing the words, and you can also practice just your listening skills just by listening to me and see if you can understand what's happening in the article. You can, of course, read along as well. And then we're going to take turns reading. So you'll have a turn, and Adela, of course, will have a turn, but we can't hear you yet. So hopefully we'll have Adela join us with her microphone working in a minute here. Let me just, there, should refresh your page, hopefully. Okay, so we'll get started, and if some other people join us, which sometimes happens, then they can, of course, start having a turn as well. I see people are opening the article, but they haven't come into the Google Hangouts. Okay, Ringling Brothers Eliminating Elephant Acts. The article is written from Polk City, Florida, Associated Press. The Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus will phase out the show's iconic elephants from its performances by 2018, telling the Associated Press exclusively that growing public concern about how the animals are treated led to the decision. Executives from Feld Entertainment, Ringling's parent company, said the decision to end the circus's century-old tradition of showcasing elephants was difficult and debated at length. Elephants have often been featured on Ringling's posters over the decades. The decision is being announced Thursday. Okay, Herman, you can read that same part out loud.
Okay. Ringling Bros. Eliminating Elephant Acts. Polk City Flat. The Riding Bros. and Barnum and Bailey Circus will phase out the show's iconic elephants from its performances by 2018, telling the Associated Press exclusively that growing public concern about how the animals are treated led to this decision. Executive from the Phil Entertainment, Ringling's parent company, said the decision to end the circus' century-old tradition of showcasing elephants was difficult and debated at length. Elephants have often been featured on Ringling posters over the decades. The decision is being announced Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So then what I do is I go over some expressions, some vocabulary, some verbs, things like this, just to make sure everybody understands it. So, Adela, let's see, are you there? Is it working now? Oh, I hear a little bit of a microphone noise. Oh, hi, Adela, welcome. I hear you now. Good.
Yeah.
Great, well, welcome. Okay, I'm going to go over some of these words I highlighted here. So, to phase out the show's elephants, basically. So, when you phase something out, it means you gradually get rid of it. So, they have the elephants now. They have a lot of elephants, and they're using them, but gradually, over time, over the next 3 years, they're going to phase out using the elephants. So they're going to stop using the elephants. But when you phase something else, it's a little bit at a time. It's not like all of a sudden. And the word iconic means that they represent. Like if something is an icon, it is a symbol. So it represents what something is all about. So the elephants in this show are iconic. I'm going to show you the picture. This is where I got the article. And as you can see, these are the elephants in the show. People around the world come to see the elephants do these shows. So they're iconic too. That means they symbolize this type of circus. And so they told Associated Press exclusively, so just them, they didn't tell anybody else. When you tell somebody exclusively, you give somebody the exclusive story. It means the only one. So they were telling the Associated Press that growing public concern. So public concern obviously is the public, the people, the customers, the viewers who go to the circus. They're worried about the animals and how they're being treated. So growing just means increasing. So more and more people were worried about how the animals were being treated, and that led to the decision. So that led them to make this decision. So when you lead somebody to do something, it's like the steps before that make you decide to do something or else. Okay. Parent company. In business, we have lots of companies, and then the parent company is the one that owns the other companies. So Ringling Brothers is a company, but they are owned by Feld Entertainment. So that's their parent company. Century-old, of course, 100-year-old tradition. They're ending this century-old tradition. And when this is used as an adjective, so we put the little dash there. Century-old with no S. Tradition. Showcasing elephants. So to showcase something means to show off, to be the feature. So of course in these circuses, this is one of the biggest parts of the circus. Of course there are other acts, but the circus with the elephants, they showcase the elephants. They show them off. And so it has been difficult over the years, and of course debated at length. So it's a hot topic, a controversial topic of whether or not we should use elephants in circuses. And so people have been debating that, arguing about it at length. When you do something at length, it means a lot. So they've been doing it for a long time, debating this issue for a long time. There's been somewhat of a mood shift among our consumers, said Alana Feld, the company's executive vice president. A lot of people aren't comfortable with us touring with our elephants. Feld owns 43 elephants, and 29 of the giant animals live at the company's 200-acre Center for Elephant Conservation in Central Florida. 13 animals will continue to tour with the circus before retiring to the center by 2018. One elephant is on a breeding loan to the Fort Worth Zoo. Okay, Adela, read this here.
There's been somewhat of a mood shift among our consumers, said Alana Feld, the company's executive vice president. A lot of people aren't comfortable with us touring with our elephants. Feld owns 43 elephants, and 29 of the giant animals live at the company's 200-acre Center for Elephant Conservation in Central Florida. 13 animals will continue to tour with the circus before retiring to the center by 2018. One elephant is on a breeding loan to the Fort Worth Zoo.
Good. All right, so she's being quoted here as saying that it's somewhat of a mood shift. So somewhat means, somewhat means a little bit at least, or, could also be quite a bit. In this case, it's probably quite a bit of a mood shift. So your mood is how you feel about something, like happy, sad, worried, anxious, excited. And so their consumers or customers have been changing their mood about the elephants. So there has been a mood shift among our customers, or with our customers, or in our customers, our consumers. A lot of people aren't comfortable with. So one thing about the reading class is we can go through grammar stuff just right in the context. So just pointing out the preposition there. So you are comfortable with things, or you are not comfortable with things. So people are not comfortable with them using the elephants while they tour. So touring just means going around to different cities around the United States, for example, giving your show. They tour with their elephants. So they have a few, quite a bit, and they have a conservation, so that's a place, that's some land where the elephants can live. And so they're going to continue with some of them, and then they're going to retire them later. And we say we retire to somewhere. So, for example, if you live in New York City, you might retire to Florida as a place to retire. And one of the elephants is on a breeding loan. So when you loan something to somebody, it means you let somebody borrow it, you give it to them to use. So they're having this zoo in Fort Worth, Texas, that is borrowing one of the male elephants for breeding, so that they can breed this elephant with another elephant to have babies at the zoo. That's the idea. Another reason for the decision, company president Kenneth Feld said, was that certain cities and counties have passed anti-circus and anti-elephant ordinances. The company's 3 shows visit 115 cities throughout the year. And Feld said it's expensive to fight legislation in each jurisdiction. It's also difficult to plan tours amid constantly changing regulations, he said. Okay. Germán. Oh, hi, we have some more people joining us. Hi, guys. Welcome. Go ahead, Germán, you can read that paragraph there.
Okay. Another reason for the decision, company president Kenneth Feld said, was that certain cities and counties have passed anti-circus and anti-elephant ordinances. The company 3 shows visit 150 cities through the year, and Feld said it's expensive to fight legislation in each jurisdiction. It's also difficult to plan tours amid constantly changing regulations, he said.
Good. Okay, so another reason for their decision. So hi, Ken, and hi, Ahmed. How are you guys doing? Welcome.
Yes, how are you?
Good. So we're just reading this article. Let me just bring you up to speed, which means let you know what we're doing. We're reading this article about the Circus, which is a very popular, long-running circus here in the United States. And I'm not sure if they go around the world, but it's Ringling Brothers is the name. And they, of course, have been using elephants in their circus shows for over 100 years probably. And, of course, people have started to think that that's not a nice thing to do with the elephants, and so they have decided that they're going to stop using the elephants in the future. In the next couple of years, they're going to stop. And we're reading an article about this because they just announced this. This is brand new news about it, and the article is talking about why they made this decision. So one of the reasons is that a lot of cities and counties in the United States, a county is a larger region, so you have your city, and then many cities belong to a county, and then the state is the next largest region. They pass certain ordinances. An ordinance is a law, a city law or a county law. That means, like, in this city you can or can't do certain things. So we talk about passing laws, passing regulations, passing ordinances. And so some of these have been anti, meaning against, circus or anti-elephant. And so the company is saying, you know, they go around all these different cities throughout the year, and it's very expensive for the company to try to fight legislation. Legislation is the ordinance, the law, or the rule or something. And so companies, obviously, when they don't like legislation, they fight against it and want to have it overturned or changed. And it becomes very expensive. So they don't really have money to try to fight this type of ordinance or legislation in each jurisdiction. A jurisdiction is like each area that the law covers. So, you know, every single city who has a law like that, that would be a jurisdiction, and so they would have to fight each one to try to change it. He says it's also difficult to plan tours, you know, to figure out where you're going, how you're going to get there. All those things cost a lot of money, and you can't plan if there's a lot of changing regulation. So amid means kind of like among. So, you know, while there is all this, you know, controversy, it's hard to plan your tour. So constantly means all the time. So they're trying to plan their tours, and then the cities are having new regulations. They're changing their rules, and so it's always happening, and it's very difficult. So they're just decided to stop using the elephants instead. All of the resources used to fight these things can be put towards the elephants, Feld said during an interview at the Center for Elephant Conservation. We're not reacting to our critics. We're creating the greatest resource for the preservation of the Asian elephant. The circus will continue to use other animals. This year it added a Mongolian troupe of camel stunt riders to its Circus Extreme show. It will likely showcase more motorsports, daredevils, and feats of humans' physical capabilities. Ringlink's popular Canada-based competitor, Cirque du Soleil, features human acts and doesn't use wild animals. Okay, Ahmed, why don't you go ahead and read those two paragraphs there?
Okay, all of the resources used to fight these things can be put towards the elephants, Feld said during an interview at the Center of Elephant Conservation. We are not reacting to our critics. We are creating the greatest resource for the preservation of the Asian elephant. The circus will continue to use other animals. This year it added a Mongolian troupe of camel stunt riders to its Circus Extreme show. It will likely showcase more motorsports, daredevils, and feats of humans' physical capabilities. Ringling's popular Canada-based competitor, Cirque du Soleil, features human acts and doesn't use wild animals.
Wild animals.
Wild animals.
Good.
The animals in the jungle, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Wild animals. We use the word wild to refer to animals that are not domesticated. They're not pets, for example. So, yeah, pets would be the typical dogs, cats, maybe a bird, you know, something like that. But wild animals are like tigers, bears, lions, everything. Yeah, anything out in the wild. Yeah. Okay, so all of the resources, of course, when we're talking about companies and stuff, the resources refer to their money, for example, so the financial aspect of their business. So they could use a lot of resources to try to fight these things, referring to the legislation, the ordinances, but instead they can put these towards, so to put something towards something means to spend it differently. So in this case, we could spend money, you know, fighting these laws, but instead we could put that same money towards supporting the elephants. That's what he's talking about here. So all the resources used to fight these things can be put towards the elephants, can be used for the elephants. So that's what they're talking about doing now. He says we're not reacting to our critics, so we're not just having a response only because we're being criticized. We are creating. So he wants people to know that the company is really creating a great resource. Now, in this case, this resource is referring to not money, but actually the conservation, the preservation of the Asian elephant. So that would be a resource for example, researchers to come and study, people to come and get to know the elephants. That's a resource also. So anything is a resource is like something that you can use. So it can be used in lots of different ways. This way it meant the money. In this context, it meant having the conservation for the elephants. That's also a resource. Okay, let's see. Some other things they've been adding. A troop. A troop is a group. So a group of camel stunt riders. A stunt person is a person who does stunts. Stunts are like tricks. So when you're watching an action movie or something and somebody jumps off of a building, that's a stunt, or if you're doing a race car scene and maybe the cars are chasing each other, those are stunt drivers driving the car because they're kind of dangerous. It's it's a stunt. It's a showing off something. So these stunt riders probably do different things like jump around on their camels, and they have a show called the Circus Extreme. Of course, extreme is usually spelled with an E, but for the name of the circus, they take it off. And they have motorsports, so motorcycles and different types of things, and daredevils. Maybe you guys heard of Evel Knievel. He was a famous motorcycle rider, daredevil. A daredevil does daring things that are scary, like jump over a bunch of cars on a motorcycle or jump off of a tall building. They are daredevils. That's what we call people who do that. And also feats. A feat is a capability, so something you can do. So feats, humans can, like in Cirque du Soleil, that's all they use. They just use humans, and they do all these amazing tricks and stunts and things like that. So that's what they're talking about. Canada-based means the company is based in Canada. It's where the home country is for that business. And so, of course, it's a competitor because they offer a different type of circus. Okay, there are endless possibilities, said Juliette Feld, another executive vice president of the company and a producer of Feld's Marvel Universe Live, Disney on Ice, and Monster Jam shows, among others. Feld owns the largest herd of Asian elephants in North America. It costs about $65,000 yearly to care for each elephant, and Kenneth Feld said the company would have to build new structures to house the retiring elephants at the center, located in between Orlando and Tampa on a rural ranch-like property. Okay, Ken, you want to read that?
There are endless possibilities, said Juliette Feld, another executive vice president of the company and producer of Feld's Marvel Universe Live, Disney on Ice, and Monster Jam shows, among others. Feld owns the largest herd of Asian elephants in North America. It costs about $65,000 yearly to care for each elephant. And Kenneth Feld said the company would have to build new structures to house the retiring elephants at the center. Located in between Orlando and Tampa on a rural ranch-like property.
Okay. All right. So endless just means without an end. So you hear these two words together a lot of times. Endless possibilities. It gives you the sense that there are many different things that are possible. Okay, so many different things that we can do. So another Feld, this is like a family business here. They're all have the last name Feld. So she's another executive vice president and the producer of these different shows. So when an entertainment company has different shows, they have different titles for their shows. So this is what they're talking about here. Marvel Universe Live, that's one type of show that probably has some of the motorsports and daredevils and things like that, Marvel characters probably. Disney on Ice is another type of show that they put on with Disney characters ice skating and stuff. And then Monster Jam, that's another name of another show, among others. So whenever you make a list of particular things and then you don't want to keep listing all of them, you can just say among others, which means these are just some of the examples of many others that they have. Okay, and that's how you use that particular phrase there, among others. Feld owns the largest herd of Asian elephants. A herd is a group. So different groups of animals are called different things, like a gaggle of geese, things like that. But for elephants, we call them a herd of elephants. You could also use herd for like cattle, cows, things like this. And it costs quite a bit of money to care for them. So to take care of them every year, it's quite a bit. You can imagine how much they eat. And so they're going to have to spend some money to build new structures. Of course, that means some type of structures to house them, to keep them safe from the elements. And this property is located in Florida. So these two cities are two different towns in Florida. And rural means out in the country, so it's not near a city or something. And they're on this 200-acre ranch-like property. A ranch, usually you think of a big open space area. Usually like cows are on a ranch, cows and horses and things. But of course now they're having elephants. Elephants are not native to the United States, so it's unusual to have a ranch for elephants here. But that's where they're going to take care of them. Okay, Kenneth Feld said, initially the center will be open only to researchers, scientists, and others studying the Asian elephant. Eventually, he hopes it expands to something the public will be able to see. I want everybody's grandkids to be able to see Asian elephants, he said. The center's youngest elephant is Mike, who will be 2 in August, and the oldest is Mysore, who is 69. One elephant, 6-year-old Barack, was conceived by artificial insemination. Since the center opened in 1995, 26 elephants have been born there. Okay. Adela, why don't you read that? Hi, Amparo.
Okay. Kenneth Feld say initially the center will be open only to researchers, scientists that are not studying the Asian elephant. Eventually, he hopes it expands to something the public will be able to see. I want everybody, grandkids, to be able to see Asian elephants, he said. The center's youngest elephant is Mike, who will be 2 in August, 2nd in August, and the oldest is Mysore, who is 69. One elephant, 6-year-old Barack, was conceived by artificial insemination since the center opened in 1995. 26 elephants have been born there.
Okay. Kenneth said initially. So initially means in the beginning. So when you're talking about the beginning of something, that's the initial time. And so here, initially, so in the beginning, this center, this place where they're going to have all the elephants live, is going to be open to just the researchers. So they're going to have researchers come, some scientists, other people who are studying this type of elephant, the Asian elephant, and then eventually. So these 2 words are often used like in a paragraph. You'll see like initially we're going to start off like this, we're going to begin, and then eventually, over time, this means. So over time, after we start getting this going, he hopes, and now we're going back into the quoted portion, to expand it. So to expand means to make it bigger, to make it larger. So when you expand a program, you include different parts of the program. So this program would include the public coming to see the elephant. So that's what he hopes to be able to do in the future, eventually, over time. Okay, he wants everybody's grandchildren, to be able to see the Asian elephants, and then they're just talking about some of them, The youngest one is 2, the oldest one 69, and one of them, a 6-year-old. I just want to point this out because a lot of people say 6 years old, but when we use it as an adjective, we don't say with the S. We don't say years, and we add these dashes here. So we say 6-year-old Barack. So that's used as an adjective to describe how old Barack is, so this elephant. He was conceived by. Conceived means when a female is impregnated, she conceives of a child, and so in this case, a baby elephant. But she was not bred, the mom was not bred with a male, but rather the sperm was put into her. So that's called artificial insemination. So they use that a lot in animals when you can't get the two together to mate, but also it is used in humans as well sometimes when it's difficult to conceive, to get pregnant. All right, so they've had quite a few elephants born there. So that's where they were born or have been born. Ringling's elephants have been at the center of lawsuits and ongoing complaints from animal rights activists. In 2014, Feld Entertainment won $25.2 million in settlements from a number of animal rights groups, including the Humane Society of the United States, ending a 14-year legal battle over unproven allegations that Ringling Circus employees mistreated elephants. Okay, Germán. Hi guys. Hi, Amparo. Hi, Adi. Go ahead, Germán, and then we'll move on to some people who joined us.
Okay. Ringling elephants have been at the center of lawsuits and ongoing complaints from animal rights activists. In 2014, Feld Entertainment won $25.2 million in settlement from a number of animal rights groups, including the Humane Society of the United States, ending a 14 years legal battle over unproven allegations that Ringling Circus employees mistreated elephants.
Good. Okay. So when we're talking about court cases, lawsuits, a lawsuit is when you are involved in a court case. Somebody has brought a suit, that's the vocabulary we use, a suit against you, for example. So this sentence describes that this company, Ringling's brother, their elephants actually, have been at the center. So when you're at the center of something, it means it revolves around you. That's what they're looking at. So they were at the center of these lawsuits, the elephants, because people thought they were being mistreated. So the elephants were at the center of lawsuits. So some people brought the company to court, that's how we say, to bring somebody to court, to sue them, we say. And also at the center of ongoing complaints from. So ongoing means, continuous or consistent, constant, ongoing complaints. So animal rights activists, an activist, a person who fights for something. So they're fighting and they're wanting these people to stop using the elephants because they're saying they were mistreating them. So people were complaining about the company's treatment of the animals. But they won. So the company won a settlement. In a settlement, or in settlements, several of them. A settlement is when you have a court case and then it gets settled. So that means there's an agreement. So in an agreement, and they won against the animal rights groups. So the animal rights groups did not win. The company won. And this ended a 14-year legal battle. So again, we don't say 14 years, we say 14-year as the adjective. Legal battle over. So we have legal battles, legal fights over different things. So in this case, they were fighting over some allegations. So when somebody makes an allegation, they accuse you. This is kind of legal terminology here. They accuse you of something. They say, hey, this is what you guys are doing, and it's against the law, and we don't like it. And so they take you to court. They sue you. But it turned out to be unproven. So they had been fighting for 14 years, finally realizing these were unproven, so they were not able to prove that employees had mistreated. So when you mistreat somebody, you treat them poorly or badly. So the company was cleared, we say cleared, of the allegations. The initial lawsuit was filed in 2000 by a former Ringling barn helper who was later found to have been paid at least $190,000 by the animal rights groups that helped bring the lawsuit. The judge called him essentially a paid plaintiff who lacked credibility and standing to sue. The judge rejected the abuse claims following a 2009 trial. Kenneth Feld testified during that trial about elephants' importance to the show. The symbol of the greatest show on earth is the elephant, and that's what we've been known for throughout the world for more than 100 years. Okay, Adi, you want to read?
Yes, teacher, thank you. Initial lawsuit was filed in 2000 by a former Ringling barn helper who was later found to have been paid at least $119,000 the animals right by the animal rights groups that helped bring the lawsuit. The judge called him essentially a paid plaintiff who lacked credibility and standing to sue. The judge rejected the abuse claim following a 2009 trial. Should I continue?
Yes, just let's read this next paragraph too.
Okay. Kenneth Phelps testified during that trial about elephants' importance to the show. The symbol of the greatest show on earth is the elephant, and that's what we've been known for throughout the world for more than 100 years.
Good. Okay, so again, the word initial now, the initial lawsuit, so that's an adjective being used as an adjective to describe the first lawsuit. So when something is the initial something, it's the first of its kind, whatever it is. So the first lawsuit, and we file lawsuits. That means you file the paperwork, you go to the courts or whatever, and your lawyer files a lawsuit. That's how we talk about that. It means you're going to sue somebody. You're going to accuse somebody of something, and you want to go to a court to have a judge rule. That's the idea of a lawsuit. So apparently there was a guy, he worked as a barn helper. A barn is where they keep the animals, the elephants, now, and a helper, a worker. So he wasn't a trainer, he wasn't one of the people in the show, he just was working, maybe cleaning the barn, helping out, feeding the elephants, something like that. That was his job. But later he was found to have been paid. So these groups, animal rights groups, were paying this person quite a bit of money. That's a lot of money, $190,000, to help bring the lawsuit. So you bring a lawsuit to the courts, or you file the lawsuit. But the judge called him. So he said, basically he was, essentially means basically, a paid plaintiff. A plaintiff is the person accusing somebody. The other side is called the defendant, or the defense. And so this person, since he was being paid, he lacked credibility. If you lack something, it means you don't have it. So he doesn't have credibility or standing. He doesn't really have the correct evidence, the right, credibility means, if somebody can believe you. So people didn't really believe him, and so he wasn't really capable of suing. So the judge rejected the abuse claims. The claim is like what somebody claims, what somebody says. So the judge disagreed and said no. Okay, and also the greatest show on earth. That's the kind of they're known for here in the United States. The greatest show on earth is the name of this, what they call the circus, another name for it. All right. When asked by a lawyer whether the show would be the same without the elephants, Feld replied, no, it wouldn't. This week, Feld said, things have changed. How does a business be successful? By adapting, he said. Feld noted that when his father bought the circus in 1967, there was still a human sideshow featuring acts such as the bearded lady and other human oddities. His father did away with that, he said. We're always changing and we're always learning, he said. Okay, let's see. Ahmed. Ahmed, your microphone is muted.
Okay.
Yeah, you can read all of this. When asked by a lawyer.
Okay, when asked by a lawyer whether the show could be the same without the elephants, Felt replied, no. It
No, it wouldn't.
I don't know. Computer send me a message.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
replied. No, it wouldn't. This week, Felt said things have changed. How does a business be successful? By adapting, he said. Feld noted that when his father bought the circus in 1967, there was still a human sideshow featuring
Show?
sideshow featuring acts such as the bearded lady and other human oddities. His father did away with that, he said. We are always changing and we are always learning, he said.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, good. All right, so whether, so when somebody asks you whether something, it means if. Like, is this, the idea is, do you think this is going to be the same? And of course he replied. So when you reply, it's your answer. No, it wouldn't. But this week, he said, things have changed. So in the past, they didn't want to get rid of the elephants. Now they're going to. Business, this is a way business has to be successful. He asks the question, how does a business be successful? By adapting. When you adapt to something, it means you change so that you work with whatever's happening now. So you either adapt, or if you don't adapt in some situations, maybe you die as a business. The market doesn't want you anymore. That's the idea. So businesses have to adapt to the time, to the people, to the clients, to the customers. And so he's giving the example. His father bought the circus in 1967, and there was still a human sideshow. So a sideshow is like you have the main show, and then you have different shows around, so people can walk around and see different types of acts. So featuring, when you feature, that's like the idea of showcasing. That's like the main idea. You're featuring them, you're showing them. So they would show things like a bearded lady. That's uncommon. And other human oddities. An oddity would be, somebody who's very tall, somebody who's very, very short, somebody has different features about humans. But his father did away with that. So to do away with something, that's the phrase there. It means you get rid of it. You stop using something. So his father stopped having these human sideshows. That's a way of changing and adapting. And so he says we're always changing. So businesses, companies, they're always changing and, of course, learning. In 2008, Feld acquired a variety of motorsports properties, including monster truck shows, motocross, and the International Hot Rod Association, which promotes drag races and other events. In 2010, it created a theatrical motorcycle stunt show called Nuclear Cowboys. roughly 30 million people attend one of Feld's 5,000 live entertainment shows every year. Okay, Ken.
In 2008, Feld acquired a variety of motorsports properties, including Monsters Track Shows, Motocross, and the International Hot Rod Association, which promotes drag races and other events. In 2010, it created a theatrical motorcycle stunt show called Nuclear Cowboys. Roughly 30 million people attend one of Feld's 5,000 live entertainment shows every year.
Okay, good. Let's see, acquire. To acquire means to, when you purchase something, you acquire it, you get it. So this entertainment company is huge, and they keep acquiring new things. So acquiring different types of properties. So in this case, a show is considered an asset or a property. So we have the monster truck shows. I'm sure you guys have seen these. If not in person, maybe you've seen them on American shows or movies or something like that. But I don't know if they're done around the world. But certainly in the United States, we have monster truck shows. So people come into a stadium and they set up these kind of courses or so with some jumps and things like this, and then you have these are called monster trucks. So of course they're gigantic trucks with huge tires, and they're for a show. You know, kids, especially little boys probably like this kind of show, and so as you can see, lots and lots of people there watching the show. That's a type of show, you know, besides the circus. Motocross is with motorcycles, and then hot rods. Hot rods, they have drag races. So drag races are different than the monster truck shows. A drag race is like a race, but the dragging part of it is this idea that there's kind of spinning out with their tires, and then they rev up. We call rev up the car, and then they take off. And so sometimes you have all kinds of crazy vehicles. Here's a bus against a truck. Some hot rods. This is a hot rod. A hot rod just means like a hot car, like, you know, fancy, speedy race kind of car. So these are called drag races, when you get these cars together and they race against each other. So that's a show. That's a type of a show that people go to a place and see. And there's stunt shows also. Stunts are, like I said, like jumping, doing different things, that kind of thing. So obviously very big company. Lots of people around the United States going and seeing these type of shows, not just the circus anymore. So the circus will be different. No more elephants in the circus. All right, we have a few minutes to discuss, but before we talk about the elephants and the circus and businesses and things like this, does anybody have any questions related to the English? Like any thing you want me to explain, any vocabulary or expressions or ideas that you didn't understand? No?
Okay.
Yeah.
Roughly in the last paragraph, last word maybe. What does it mean?
Okay. Roughly, okay, whenever you give a figure and you're not giving an exact number, you say something like roughly or almost.
Around.
Yeah, around, about, yes, exactly. So roughly. So it's not an exact number, but about 30 million people. Yeah. Maybe it's 28.9 or something like that, you know. So good. Yeah, it's a good word to use whenever you're giving somebody kind of like an estimate. It's not an exact number. So you can say, oh, you know, I've been to roughly 30 shows this year, something like that. You can use it in many ways. Good. Okay. And so just to remind you guys, reading is great thing to do because you get all this vocabulary, some of which might be new for you. And, you know, one way is just to look up the vocabulary in a dictionary or online or something like that. Sometimes you can try to figure out in the context what it probably means in your own language, you know, what makes sense. And it's a good way to just really see how people are using the language, especially when they're using quotes, because that's, you know, people actually talking. A good thing to do is to sometimes read through an article and just concentrate on specific things, like maybe the use of prepositions, the use of verbs, the use of adjectives, just to kind of use it as a tool to focus yourself on specific things. But let's just talk about the circus now. What do you guys think? Ken, is the circus something that's popular in Japan?
Yeah, popular. I remember I went to circus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was a kid. But
Mm-hmm.
then, actually, circus is changing. Actually, it's in accordance with the culture changes. You know,
Yeah.
maybe like Disney on Ice. Yeah, often comes in my town. You know,
Right.
kind of figure skating and plus circus and yeah. But in autumn, yeah, such kind of elephant shows or yeah, maybe was more popular. But interesting point of this article, you know, it's not only the reason why they are abandoned using elephant, not only I thought at the beginning because of the kind of animal abuse,
Mm-hmm.
but not only for that, but also the cost of traveling with such a big giant animal. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, it's so circus. Everything are changing. So why not circus? In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's like, this article could be talked about in a lot of different ways, talking about the treatment of the elephants. Is it good? Is it necessary to have using wild animals? Cirque du Soleil is very popular, and they don't use any kind of animals, so that's a different business model, you could say. But yeah, as a business, you have to adapt. If people don't want to watch elephants anymore, then you have to change. And now they like monster trucks, you know. So,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yes.
But the general idea that the band of this elephant acts came from reason, moral reason.
It doesn't sound like that to me in the way that this was presented. It's more like realizing that enough people don't want to see the elephants. It's not, it's not what the customer wants anymore, because there is a perception that the elephants are mistreated. They weren't proven to be mistreated, but a lot of people still don't like the idea of using elephants. I think the company, from this article, I think they still thought it was okay, that they treated their elephants fairly and good, well, but they changed their mind based on the fact that the times are changing, we can say. So whether or not you treat them nicely or not, it's the public's perception that will ultimately decide what's going to happen with your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So it doesn't sound like to me like they had a problem with it, but maybe more the customers had a problem with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, Amparo.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Hi, teacher. Just frustrated. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that was weird. You couldn't. You were. Oh,
Yeah,
unblocked and then can hear. Okay, interesting.
yeah. I don't know why. What is the relation? It's supposed to be hangout,
Yeah.
and but I was unable to hear anything. But just from the website, I was able. But when I tried to be inside the hangout, it was just mute everything.
Yeah, I've never heard that. That's something interesting because you put on the parental control thing, huh?
Yeah. And just I blocked these kind of pages.
Right.
So
well,
what is the relation then?
I don't know, but I wonder, just because I take these things from different websites, and then there are ads and stuff. That's why I like to move it over to a document.
The document it's just yours. It's not in my computer.
Oh,
so it shouldn't be any kind of trouble.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I just the first thing you say, well, maybe advertisements. I just unblock that, nothing happened. Gambling there, nothing happened. Then I just unblocked everything, and then I was able to hear again.
Wow, that's strange. Yeah.
Really?
I have a last maybe question.
Okay.
Only to this word circus remember me, or for one word when I was in London, I took the when I take the this this for transport in the most famous transport in London. What is the name?
The tube?
Sorry?
The tube? The metro?
Metro, yeah. They
Yeah.
they say circus. What does it mean in that context?
Oh, Piccadilly Circus, maybe? I think it's a stop. It's a place in London, so it would be one of the stops where you get off. Yeah, Piccadilly Circus. Yeah.
Not the word have a meaning. Not that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not really sure what. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Circus, yeah.
Piccadilly Circus, yeah. It's a special place. Yeah, maybe in the past something happened there. But it sounds like it's a circle area.
Yeah, thank you, teacher.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for coming to class. Sorry, Amparo, that didn't work for you, but I'll be back tomorrow. So see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.